Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I am your host, Mikey, and as always, riding me shotgun, my boy Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to all of Bill's Mafia. The weekend is here. It's almost game day. Almost game day. We are a few days away from game day, game night. We are the premier spot of Sunday. We are the last game of the weekend, Mikey, and rightfully so. It is the rematch, man. It is the game that will really define, honestly, for me, Sean McDermott as a head coach, because he has to. If we can't get it done here, if we cannot beat the Chiefs, and I'm talking about just the Chiefs, goddammit, in the playoffs, I don't know if we ever will. I'm going to be dead honest with Sean McDermott as head coach. Like, he has. This is his opportunity to finally beat Andy Reid, and then I could say, you know what, okay, McDermott is starting to gain my trust again, like my trust as far as playoffs go, that he could beat one of the best head coaches in the NFL, because he has yet to really do that. Like, this is it. This is a defining moment for Sean McDermott. So I'm confident, though. Mikey, it's so weird, man. You asked me, I think 2 weeks ago, about this play going into the playoffs, like if I was nervous or something like that, or the Dolphin game, and I told you no, and I told you I honestly, it's the first season, even though it's been a rocky one, I never went into a game this season except for game one, because game one, I think all of our nerves are a little right, like game one, but ever since then, I never felt like nervous or we were going to lose or like, oh, like this is I don't know. I just don't feel that. Like, I don't know about you, but I feel confident. I do. In this team, even with all the injuries, I just feel like, I don't know. I feel at ease. I feel like we have this.
I feel confident, and there's a reason I feel confident, and we'll hit this and then we'll do around the league news. I feel confident. We have won 3 of the last 4 games against them, and the one we lost, we had the lead with 13 seconds, and we just blubbered it away. There has been nothing that makes me feel unconfident that we can't beat the Chiefs.
Right.
If Sean Fincher tightens up and we lose and it looks horrible and it's because of coaching, then I'll be right back on that. We're not going to win it with him.
Right.
It's one of those things. Like, listen, all week the national media has talked about how it's a legacy game for Josh. It's a legacy game for McDermott, not Josh.
Right.
Yeah,
really. I agree.
So, let's put a quick pause and thank you. I know Triggs in the building. Scott says he's nervous as hell. He's not pretending, he's being real. We get into all that tonight, but let's do around the league. Let's start with the Las Vegas Raiders hiring a head coach. Antonio Pierce keeping the job.
I had a feeling they were. Now, I think I said that? And were you confident as I was as he was going to stay there? Because I predicted that.
I didn't know. I didn't know. And the reason why I didn't know is because Mark Davis likes to chase big names. But when Crosby came out and said, if you don't hire him, I'm going to ask for a trade, I wondered if he was going to, you know what I mean? Because there was a lot of the veteran big name guys that said, if he doesn't get the job, I want out.
Right.
Wondered if Mark Davis was going to crumble to what the players wanted.
That's true, but it's I feel like it's not only that. I just feel like Pierce did he got that team motivated. He got that team wanting to play for him. And if you look at like Dan Campbell, I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just saying like sometimes you do need that type of coach that the team just rallies around. Because I don't think Dan Campbell's this excellent head coach. I just feel like he's a player's coach, a leader, right? Like he's a guy that trusts his men. You know what I mean? But I don't think I'm not, he's not this fucking guru out there. He's just a guy that has faith in his team and he has faith in his coordinators. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what Pierce brings to the table for the Raiders. So we'll see though. We'll see. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Jason comes in and says, am I hearing it right? The Falcons want to interview Joe Brady? Yes, they do. Monday. They want to interview him on Monday. They've requested permission to interview him for head coaching. Right. However, on Monday, the Falcons are also giving a second interview to Bill Belichick.
Yeah, which
Joe Brady.
No offense, Joe Brady, but yeah.
Joe Brady's been getting head coaching interviews for the last few years.
Yeah.
Out of LSU, he was getting them. After the first year with Carolina, he was getting them. Then, he got fired in Carolina and the interview stopped. And then as the quarterback coach for the last 2 years, he didn't get him. But seeing what he did with this offense, he's back on people's radar. He's one of the young, up-and-coming offensive minds that people are looking at. Now, I think there's a lot of people ahead of him in line. Bobby Slowick's one of them at Houston. Ben Johnson, there's a bunch of those guys but that name's going to go around. I think Joe Brady will interview, but he'll be back for the Bills next season. I have a feeling he's going to be with the Bills until he gets a head coaching job.
Yeah. I just hate that whole process of like, I can't stand that. That's so, I just don't like, I think the NFL has to stop that, man. I think it should I think
back a week.
I think they should be pushed back in general for all, like, I get it, but just like, they have like certain like free agency starts here, like, this time. I think coaching should be the same way, because of this way, then it's fair game for every team, right? Because I get it. Like, they want to get their coaches over with quick and before somebody else grabs them, blah, blah, blah. But they should make it fair for everyone, every coach that's still in the playoffs, right? Coordinator wise, to have an opportunity to actually do a real interview where their concentration is not on playoff football. Now it's okay. Here's what you know what I mean? Like, I just don't like that. I wish the NFL would stop doing that. It's ridiculous, man.
But it's been the way it's been the whole forever.
No, I get it.
They're not going to change it.
I mean, just hate it.
Unfortunately for those teams that are in the playoffs that have, young coordinators, you have to deal with it.
No, I get it, but it's not even fair to the coordinators is what I'm trying to say. Like, even because think about it. Their minds are like on playoff football, right? Like defense coordinator, offense coordinator, like, and now they got to prepare for a job interview for possibly like, a head coaching job that's their dream job. And now they have to push this thing aside to concentrate on like, it shouldn't be that way. You know what I mean? It kind of messes them up, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't like it. I think it's unfair to the teams in the playoffs. I think it's unfair to the coaches in the playoff. They should push that back until after the Super Bowl and let every team then,
they tried to do that and they only pushed it back a week. That was actually brought up during last offseason, and then NFL only pushed it back 1 week. They just they won't do it. They won't do it. Because if you remember the first year we went to the AFC Championship game, that was going into the championship game was the week that Frazier and Daboll both interviewed. So both our coordinators, and then we went out and got smashed.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of that either. But you know what? Good for Joe Brady. His name's out there again. Hopefully it doesn't mess with him, and his mind stays on football. So if we win, or I should say when we win this week, going into the AFC Championship game, he'll be focused on the Bills and not, especially considering he's going up against Bill Belichick. Like, is he really going to get the job? Why are you even interviewing?
Yeah, exactly.
That frustrates the shit out of me.
Unless, well, because Bill Belichick may not want the job. But it is curious. It's a second. It is a second, right? Yeah. That is a great point. I mean, why, if Bill Belichick wasn't like intrigued, why, he wouldn't even bother going in for a second one. So clearly the Falcons are probably giving him a nice, a bit of money and probably a lot of perks to come with being the head coach there. I wonder what those perks are,
Jason, I don't know how thin we're going to be at linebacker, and we'll get into the whole injury report. But I know we are without Spector's the only one who's been ruled out so far. We're getting Dotson back.
Yeah. God, I can't believe I'm happy Dotson's.
I know, right?
If you would have told me that, if you would have told me that earlier in the season,
but he's played really well this year.
No, I know. Okay. Yes, I think he's played well because McDermott knew how to use him the right correct way. You know what I mean? Like,
just like AJ Klein last week.
Yes, exactly.
Klein isn't a great linebacker, and McDermott just is using them to his advantage, like what he's good at.
Exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, no, it's gonna be. Looks like the Bills are gonna be on Peacock. No, the Bills are on CBS, Paramount Plus CBS, and that's the night game. The Peacock game or NBC Sunday night game actually starts at 3. Cali Blitz. So you can find them on
Cali Blitz.
So you can find them on CBS, not on Peacock. Even though they are the Sunday night game, which is odd. If you have Peacock, you can watch the games on Peacock. Otherwise, you can watch them on NBC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this is it. They're all on NBC, CBS, or whatever.
Bills are taking all the penalties. Yeah, I'm not really worried about the whole referee thing. I hope the Bills just go out, put it out of their mind, and play their game. Because me and Tommy were talking about this before we came on tonight. This game really comes down to what other two teams show up. The Chiefs and the Bills have both been just up and down all year. So what version of that team do you get? Do you get the Vegas Raiders version of the Chiefs, where they just couldn't get out of their own way? Or do you get the Miami Dolphins version of the Chiefs?
Mm-hmm.
What version of the Bills do you get? Do you get the one that's been on a heater the last, 6 weeks? But even then, against Miami, we had 3 turnovers. Our defense was just on point. So it really comes down to what version of these teams do you get will decide what this game's going to look like. Either way, it's going to be a tight game. I do think so. I don't think anyone's going to blow anybody out. You know what? Let's just hop into the injury reports right now, Tommy. Let's just get through them.
Yeah, let's do it.
On the Chiefs side, their defensive tackle, nose tackle, Nandi, who is actually their best run stopper, is out. That's a big loss for them.
No, it's a huge loss, yeah.
Because they're not great against the run anyways. Mm-hmm. But having him out is huge. Sky Moore's on IR still. Wanya Morris, who came in to the last game, is out with a concussion. They do get back their starter, Donovan Smith, but he's been dealing with a neck injury. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Tony and Justin Ross are both questionable. So they're missing weapons on offense. We're missing weapons on defense. For the Bills, we have Benford's out, Gabe Davis is out, Rapp's out, and Spector's out. Everyone else is questionable. So Bernard hasn't practiced all week. He's going to be a true game time. I saw a video of him today, and he was working out, doing stretches and everything, hopping on both feet. He looked okay.
Okay.
But it's really going to come down to, can he run around? And we won't know that until before the game. Rasul Douglas was a full participant today. He's questionable. Unless he has a setback, he's going to play.
Yeah, and that was the biggest, I think for me, the biggest, injury that I was keeping an eye on. But I had a feeling he was going to play.
Yeah, mine was Teron Johnson
too. Yeah, no doubt, Teron. Yeah,
and Teron told the media that he hasn't had any symptoms all week. He'll pass his last. Tomorrow is his last test. If he passes, he's going to play. He thought he could go back in the game last Saturday. Like he said, he's never had any kind of symptoms or anything. They put him into the protocol because of what happened to him.
It was odd. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Someone hit him from the side and he went down.
Yeah, but I mean, it almost looked like he got had a leg, like it was weird. Like he was cobbling, and the way
like
he
his
felt.
hand started shaking, like it was just odd.
It was
just crumbled.
It didn't look like a crazy hit, though. I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously, but it's an offensive lineman. You know what I mean? Offensive lineman. Teron's not the biggest guy in the world. So, if you're blindsided like that, it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, if Johnson, if he passes, he'll be playing. Sam Martin's questionable. So we'll see. We signed Matt Hack. So we'll see what happens with him. It comes down though, because tomorrow's gonna tell you a lot. Because Matt Hack's on the practice squad. We're already without Gabe Davis. So are we gonna run 4 wide receivers, or are we gonna bring up somebody? And then what about
Isabella
AJ Klein?
again? You think Isabella?
We can only bring up 2. And we have 3 guys that's possible.
You're
Klein,
right, because
Isabella, and Hack.
Yeah, you're right. Didn't even think about that. And Klein, you probably want to have, because even if Dotson's back,
even if Bernard's back, you don't know what's
that's what I mean. Well, even Bernard is a real risk. I mean, if he comes back, because he's not going to be 100, right? And anyone that suffered ankle injuries, like myself, they're not fun to play on. Like when you have a sprained ankle or hurt ankle, like his ankle is not going to be good for the rest of the playoffs. He's just going to have to play with some pain. But it only takes one time where he steps on someone's foot,
even possibly plays crazy.
Yeah, I know but I agree. So Klein, you may have to go with Klein and Hack. Now, depending on, of course, what happens.
Then you're going to run with 4 wide receivers.
Martin. Yeah, you have to. You can't. Well, you have what? Have no punter?
Well, then what? That's the question. Because what you can also do is you can take Spectre and you can put him on IR and sign Klein to the 53.
That is true. That is very true. And what has Spectre? I like Spectre, but I think at this point, I mean, Spectre's been a problem with his injuries. Like, I don't even know if I could trust him the rest of the way. So that may be something that they could do, but you would think they would have already done that by now if that's what they're planning. But I guess they could plan it by tomorrow.
They might just be waiting to see how.
I think they're waiting on Martin. Maybe.
I think they're waiting on Teron Johnson getting cleared, because if he doesn't get cleared, it's going to change a lot of things.
Yeah, you're right. I don't see why he wouldn't, though, if he's saying he feels fine.
Yep.
But who knows? You never know. I mean, but the NFL right now, they want the players play.
Yeah. Mike J comes in and says, Josh Allen playoff losses against Watson, Mahomes, and Joe Burrow. Josh Allen can't afford to lose to Mahomes yet again. See, and this goes back to what we were talking about before. It's not a Josh Allen win or loss thing. Josh Allen lost to Mahomes walking off the field with 13 seconds. His defense gave it up, and then he never touched the ball again. It's not a Josh Allen can't afford to lose. It's the Buffalo Bills can't afford to lose.
Right.
If Josh Allen was going out there and playing like shit and, was the reason we lost, I would say, okay, he needs to play better. He can't afford to not play well enough to win. But he's played well enough to win in those games.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
only what he did was the Joe Burrow game last year, and the whole team just took a dump.
The Chiefs won in 2020. I didn't think he played his best ball.
I thought defense got smoked.
No, I know, but I'm just saying in general. I don't think he's not the reason why we lost. Like, he's not the primary reason, but it's not like he didn't have he didn't have one of his better games. He knows that. It was a little rough outing for him. Then in 2021, he had a good game. Obviously, 2022 against the Bengals wasn't his best performance either. But I think this is more on, like we said in the beginning of this podcast, this to me leans more towards our head coach. 100%. Like, he has to find a way to beat these teams that we've been chasing. And really, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to be dead honest here, right? We know that we can, we know we can beat the Ravens. We've already beaten the Ravens in the playoffs. That's not Jim Harbaugh's not his stepping stone. Right now, it's Andy Reid. That's his side, his thorn in the side. And also, too, I got to say, too, he's responsible for getting these Joe Brady and coaching staff prepared and ready. Like, I'm hoping, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, they better have one hell of a game plan going in, because the one thing I've noticed when we hit the playoffs, a lot of times we don't switch it up often. We throw the same shit out there that teams have been seeing, and I think somebody mentioned that one of the players, I think it was was it Ed Oliver or Deion Dawkins? They did an interview. I think it was Dawkins, and he mentioned like, yeah, we've seen each other and we know each other, but trust me, Andy Reid's they're gonna show you something different. And that's what we need to do. Like, you can't just throw the same shit out there and expect to win. A lot of teams, they know what we're about. So I really hope Joe Brady mixes it up this week, shows some new looks. I hope
the run game.
I hope McDermott, changes his ways a little bit too, plays a little bit more aggressive. We'll see. Did you hear Colin Cowherd when he was talking about Sean McDermott, kind of comparing him to the Giants' old coach? What was his name?
Coughlin.
Yeah. Kind of saying that, and I agree with it. But in a matter of fact, I said this before Cowherd 2 weeks ago when I think we were talking about it, and I said maybe that article hit home a little bit, and because there is a lot of truth to it. No matter how we see it or whatever people see it, it was a hit piece, but there was some truth in there. And I think McDermott, like Coughlin, probably took some of that truth, and said, hey, maybe I do got to do something different. Maybe I got to be a little better. And Coughlin did the same thing. Remember, Coughlin was not having a good go around his first.
No.
And then he realized, I can't be like this. I got to change my way a little bit. And boom, Super Bowls. And I think McDermott, you're kind of seeing it, Mikey. Now, I hope it continues. But I think I've seen a little change in the way McDermott has been as far as just coaching-wise, like being aggressive, not being super conservative. His halftime when he talks to reporters, he's more like, seems on like just hey, let's fucking get it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not just using that typical, coach speak where it is. I don't know. I see a different McDermott. Do you? I mean, I kind of see a different
McDermott. Since the piece has come out, I do see a different McDermott. You see a little bit more of his personality. He's also believed in his guys a little bit ever since, really, because it came out right after the Eagles game. Remember,
right after the Eagles,
it was he didn't trust Allen with a minute left, and then right after that, you started seeing him get a little bit more aggressive, trusting his guys. Yeah, you saw a lot of it. He made it to, McDermott's all about making yourself better, right? Every day, try to be your best self. Maybe he took some of that to heart and said, people really feel that way about me. Maybe I need to, look inner. And good for him if that's really the case.
Yeah. And that piece, to be honest with you, kind of like put the Von Miller thing under the rug. Right? Like it kind of did, right? Like the Von Miller, because remember, it was in the same week, the bye week. Then the article came out, I think, this next day. And then the Von Miller thing kind of, that was under the rug, right? Now we're on the McDermott. Like, so it was just odd. It was really odd timing. But remember, we talked about this. When you're losing, the shit's not going right, a lot of things are going to start coming out, right? That's normal. That's what happens in sports. All sport teams go through this, right? Things come out, right? About your coach, about certain players, like when things aren't going right. And I don't know. I think, like I said, man, I think it helped in a weird way. I think it kind of helped, man.
Von Miller needs to step it up. This is the reason. Von Miller came out and said this is the best he's felt. And, Cover One did a really good job of breaking down Von Miller last game. Von Miller had some really good pass rushes at the end of the game to where he looked kind of like the old Von Miller. He's just missing guys. This game's going to be about the front, is going to be about our D-line. If our D-line can, stay in their rush lanes and not get over pursuit, because Mahomes will kill you with the run if you over pursue. Right. Stay in your rush lanes and get home. Their tackles aren't very good. Our DNs have a chance to really eat. And then if Daquan and, because everyone's like, oh, we were missing Bolton last time we played. And we were missing Daquan Jones, and he's back. So it's one of those things of it's going to be a good game. That's always a good game. I'm depending on what version of the team you get. This isn't the explosive Chiefs. You know,
Right.
they still have
Right.
Travis Kelce, they have Rashee Rice, and who knows who else is going to be there on their offense. Pacheco's a good running back. You know, it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a nip and tuck. As long as the offense doesn't blow it, because they have a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel real good about the Bills being in this game and having a chance to win it. I do think the Bills are going to win, and I'll give you my score at the end of our show.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game like they usually are.
Man.
And the Bills pull it out.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. It's not going to be a close game. It's going to be.
And I don't think the refs are going to. Everyone's worried about the refs. I don't think the refs are going to be as big of factor as people think. At least I sure hope they aren't. I hope they aren't.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not either. But I don't know. I never go into games thinking about it. The refs are having. Listen. The refs are the refs. They're having a shit year. I promise you, there's going to be some bad calls in the game on both sides.
Yep.
Right. Both teams are going to have some bad calls thrown their way. It is what it is, man. Honestly, like I'm not going to use that as an excuse why we lost the game and neither should Chiefs fans. It's the way it works, man, in the NFL, man. Just like really any sport. There's bad calls all over the place, man. So
it happens. I'm not worried about them. They're not even.
Just play football. Just play football. Just play.
Bills
football,
need to go out and just execute. If they execute, they don't leave it in the refs' hands.
Absolutely.
Don't give them a reason to call one.
Play smart. Play smart too, man.
Know who's out there and what they like to call.
Absolutely.
Refs don't like crybabies. Yeah. And just remember, Mahomes and Kelce and them lost their crap last time we played. You can frustrate them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Go out and play solid D. Frustrate him. If you start frustrating Mahomes and he starts getting hit, he gets pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Take him out of their game. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
No sleeve for Miller this game. First time this year. Yeah, no sleeve, no brace, no nothing. He says he's starting to feel like his old self, which is great. This is the game to start feeling that way.
This is the game.
Have him and Floyd and Rousseau and Epinesa, having all four of them.
Right.
That'd be fantastic.
This is definitely the game where we need you, Vaughn. Like if there's any game that we need you, it's this one. And we definitely need the old Vaughn back. Please. I mean, just bring what you got, man.
He'll get two. I'll take a sack. I'll take Vaughn playing good run defense and being himself and just causing pressures. That's what I'll take.
Hey, by the way, real quick before we move on, Best Bills channel or not, good guy, a good channel. He did a video today, and he's been watching longer than me, by the way. I've been watching since '89, but he did a really good video, Mikey, today about all of the times like the Bills just were like heartbreaking losses, and there were like clips going back to like 81 to current. And there were some really bad memories there, but man, it was such a great video because I remember pretty much all of it from '89, which is the Browns playoff loss, all the way to current. So go check that out, guys. Man, he did a great job on that.
Chiefs win the turnover battle by 2, and this is a loss, period. So he thinks we're going to lose?
If they win the turnover battle by 2, he's saying.
Oh.
So, I mean, listen.
The Chiefs don't turn the ball over very often, though. Like, their defense ranks, like, in the bottom third of forcing turnovers.
I want to, so here's the deal. I mean, I always say that to you. Like, it's not just – you got to win the turnover battle and time and time possession, right? That's the key in any game for the most part. But we've been one of the better teams in turning the ball over, so I'm not super concerned on that. I don't think now could Josh throw an interception this game? Sure,
yeah, he threw one last time he played him.
Right, sure. You know what I mean? You can expect one. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably going to expect one. Just don't throw it at the worst time. That's all, right?
On either end zone. You're gonna throw it.
Right.
Don't throw it when you're backed up, and don't throw it when you're getting ready to score a touchdown.
Exactly. But no, man, we'll be fine. I'm not worried about the turnover battle. Like I think if anything, we've been one of the better teams, like I said, in turning the ball, turning the ball over. So we'll get to We'll make some. Listen, Mikey. I think we're gonna have at least 2 turnovers in this game. I'm calling it now. I think we're gonna have
on defense or on offense.
On defense, I think we're gonna get. Okay. I think we're gonna get an interception in this game. I can feel it. Russell Douglas is coming back, and he may be the one to get it. But I just gonna throw an interception out. I think we're gonna get an interception. I think we're gonna get a fumble. The way our defense lately has been going after the football has been great, man. I mean, look at the last game. We should have had 2, right? They're going after that football. They're so I definitely could see a fumble recovery and an interception. So I'm calling it now, at least 2 turnovers by the defense, which isn't crazy, by the way.
Fumble twice. I don't think we need him to fumble. I think we can get
it is so
throw interception. Because here's the thing, their guys are still dropping the ball. Like they dropped it last week against Miami a bunch, and we have ball hawks back there. Hyde, Poyer, Douglas, Tron. Yep. They all catch the ball. To me, it's our linebackers.
Yep. To me, it's pressure. Because the thing is, Mahomes is so tough to get. He's crafty, bro. He's crafty, and he's still
he's like a cat back there.
Yeah, and he's still mobile. You know what I mean? He still could pick up yards with his feet. So he's not. I don't expect this to be like a lot of sacks. I think we could pick up 1 or 2 because he does get sacked in the game. He does hold the ball. He's like Allen a little bit. Like he'll hold the ball. And he'll take that sack sometimes because he holds the ball a little bit too long because he's giving his receivers a chance. So I could definitely see a sack or 2. But for me, it's pressure and batting the passes down, getting in his face, causing a disruption, right? That's what it's about when you go against those type of quarterbacks. When we go against Lamar, we do the same thing. Pressure. We don't get to him, but enough pressure to make him make mistakes. And that's what we need to do to Mahomes.
The difference between Lamar's defense and Patrick's defense, Lamar, we play contain.
We contain. No, I agree. 100%.
But that's what we need to do against Pat. Like, because there's times our guys get out of their pass rush lanes and opens it up and Pat takes off.
Absolutely.
We need to play contain and then, push in. That's what they did against Josh last time in the second half. They just rushed 3 and they had a spy, and they just played coverage against him. They didn't care about sacking Josh Allen. They care about keeping him in the pocket.
I just want to see McDermott get a little bit more creative on defense this game. Throw a little bit more different looks than what Andy Reid is used to seeing. By the way, too, I was listening to a radio station going to get some lunch today, and it was like a sports radio, and the guy made a great point. He was like, there's some coaches like the Minnesota defense coordinator, Brian Flores. What he's going to do, like when his guys set up, right? Like it's obvious. But then there's other coaches that you have no idea. They're creative on defense and offense. But he was
like that,
right? And that's what I love
about
right.
Spags is that way,
right?
Arumo, the Bengals defense coordinators that way. Like they have a different game plan
exactly. Belichick
and Belichick they have a different quarter to quarter. Like don't make in-game adjustments based off of that. I've noticed that's the one thing this year that McDermott's done really well is his in-game adjustments.
Exactly. That's what I want to see here. I want to see it to like honestly. I want to see just different looks in general. Like Gregor Rousseau's lining up in the mid. DT like
he did that last week.
Yeah, throw some exotic looks out there to just kind of throw Andy Reid off a little bit from what he's used to seeing.
Don't just play the soft zone.
Don't do that. Yeah, please don't.
Like listen, they're going to be down some playmakers. Stop the run and make him one-dimensional. That's really the big thing. Because if they get the run game going, that's when KC gets really dangerous. Stop the run, make him one-dimensional, and make Kelsey and Rice and Watson and all those guys beat you. Can they? Yes, but they also drop a ton of balls. So make him beat you that way. Do you see Diggs with 3 TDs? No, honestly, I don't see Diggs with 3 TDs. I'll be surprised if Diggs gets 1 TD. He has in the playoffs, he's more of a decoy than he is an actual receiver. He's also going against Snead, who's one of the best cover corners this year in football. Tommy.
Yep.
Your thoughts here?
No, sorry. Somebody keeps calling my phone. I keep hitting mute. Fucking people. Sorry. Go ahead. Do y'all see Diggs? No. Listen, I'll be happy if he gets one. The way Diggs right now, I think he's getting better. He's getting a little bit out of the funk, but I still think Diggs is dealing with something. Right? He's dealing with some type of injury. It's kind of a nagging injury. And it may be the foot. I know they put him on the injury report this week with the foot. But I'll be happy with one, like at this point from Diggs. It's been a rough month and a half, 2 months.
It's not just that. In the playoffs, he hasn't done shit.
No,
really?
Right.
And in his career with us.
No, in general.
They double cover him. The difference is this year we have more weapons. You know,
we do.
Shakur's come out of the woodworks. Kincaid.
But here's the deal. Cook. Here's the deal, though. But that's good. So here's the deal. If those guys could start really stepping up, I mean, really making some noise, and that's what I talked about Joe Brady really starting to dial it up for guys like Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. Like really start dialing it up, because if he dials it up more for Shakir and Kincaid, defenses will have to start being honest with them. That will loosen up Stephon Diggs, right? A little bit more. And the double teams and all that he's getting right now, because teams aren't respecting our roster, our receivers. They're not respecting Hardy. They're not respecting Shakir right now. Now, maybe they started. Maybe now. Maybe they're starting to go, wait, who is this kid? And I think Dalton Kincaid's starting to get that respect, right? But I'm telling you, man, we can't. That's the one thing I think we did too much of early on through the playoffs. We try to force it to Diggs because other players weren't stepping up. Right now, Gabe stepped up in the Chiefs game in 2021, but other than that, nobody's really.
It's hit and miss for him.
Done much, right? So, if these guys like Shakir and Kincaid can continue what they did last week, then yes, I think Diggs. You'll start seeing Diggs get more of like getting his yards increased.
It's 7 for 52 last week or something.
No,
like that?
Not bad. But my point is, I think Joe Brady has to start leaning towards getting those other players more involved than what he has been in the regular season. That is, I like what I saw last week, but I want to continue.
I've liked what I've seen since Gabe left the game halfway through the Miami game. I felt our offense has opened up so much more since Gabe's left, and I love Gabe. Don't get me wrong, but our offense seems like it's run so much more efficient without him out there. And maybe it's because Josh doesn't feel like he has to throw it to him, and he just throws it to the open guy.
Right.
You know, because a lot of Josh's interceptions come when he tries to target Davis. It really does.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because they're never on the same page.
Not this year. Not this year. They've been.
Yeah, this year they're not. Like Davis is not reading the defense that Josh is reading.
No, this year it's weird, man. I have no idea what is going on with them this year. It's I don't know. It's confusing, man, because he's on a contract year. So I really don't know what's going on.
The super chat piece isn't working. So you
really?
You know the best Bills channel or not. Bills
I'll check it
26, out. Piece 24 on last second field. I can see that. I'll be perfectly honest. If Bass is lining up for a field goal, I'm not going to be comfortable until it goes through the uprights, because that guy has shanked a 20-yarder last week.
It's on, by the way. Super chats is on, guys. So do me a favor. Anyone else, you don't have to, but if anyone could throw a $1 super chat just to see if it's working, other than what Best Bills channel. But thank you, Best Bills. But yeah, it's on. I know, panic mode. Super chats get priority here. Yeah. You know how it goes, Spin.
Oh. That's hilarious. Oh, it's not working on his end.
Okay.
Okay,
it's all right. We forgive you. No, I'm just playing, man.
Sam Martin holding has been bad. You think it's been Sam Martin has been the issue, Tricks? It could be.
I mean, honestly, I'm not an expert at that. You know,
we talked about this last week. I don't like our special teams coordinator.
Yeah, it's
like at
trash.
All. He's been trash all year.
Trash.
I'm not gonna hold anything until we get a better special teams coordinator in here. You know, like he's been real bad. Okay,
it's working.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you, brother.
50 by 9:30, and the Bills win Sunday. Woo! Bills win, baby.
Yeah. All right.
Yep. There we go. You know, at the end of the day, the Bills got to get the W. I don't care how they do it. I really
No, I don't care. I don't listen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. But we have to get those no good Chiefs. We have to. You know how I see this game, like when we were chasing the Patriots, and I'll never forget that. Thank you, Sophia. I'll never forget that. I believe it was the playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
When we played them, and Jordan Poyer, it was the pregame, was talking to his guys, remember? And he's like, fuck these motherfuckers, man. It's time to fucking, remember? It's time to that we like take the like it's our show now. Like
it was that 13-second game. Is the pregame of the 13-second game.
No, I thought it was the Patriots game. It was a Patriots.
Oh, you're right. It was
the Patriots.
It was the perfect game.
Yeah, in 2021, I believe, right? Because that was the year that it was close. Remember, they almost won the division. We wanted up seeing them.
Yeah, they ended up beating us in the win game.
Yeah, we fucked them up. Yeah. But remember the pregame.
The playoffs.
Yeah, but Poyer was like, fuck these guys. Remember, like, this is it. This is where, and really, honestly, from there on out, we ran like the Patriots are done. That game, we totally said no more. And I think this is like that type of game where we need, and I almost guarantee if we go ahead and win, which I think we will, and I believe we will, you will hear some type of, when they do the sound bites, I guarantee somebody's going to be saying that pregame, like getting their guys.
Enough's enough.
These guys. Enough's enough. Fuck these. And it could be Poyer again. And I would love it, dude. I would love it. Like, fuck these guys. It's our fucking, like, dude, whatever you got to do to pump yourself up, good. Go out and do it. Because that's what they did against the Patriots. And they steamrolled the Patriots that game.
Look up, Joe. Be sure to clear out the snow from your opposing team's seats. You don't want to give them any ammo. Keep your advantage. It's so funny that they were talking about that because the snowball didn't even come close to hitting the guy. It came up like 10 yards short. And they're like, oh, they're trying to, they interfered with the play. Like, no, they didn't. They threw a snowball. It didn't come close. It's the narrative is hilarious to me.
Did you hear
it's like the narrative of Josh Allen's fake slide? Josh Allen's that's how he runs.
Oh, no, that was the most ridiculous thing. I cannot believe. When I heard that, dude, I'm not talking on a video this earlier this week. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, stop. Like, dude, you don't watch, you clearly do not watch Josh Allen. You don't watch Buffalo Bills. He's done that's his move. The little hesitation. I get it's not pretty. It's not fast. It's not what you're used to seeing on a normal.
It's also slick out there.
He's also, but he does it on general. He's a 6'5", 250-pound quarterback. He's not Antonio Brown out there shaking people. Like, that's what he does. Like, that's his move, right? He's not fake sliding. It's so stupid, man. Like, it's just so, people are so dumb, man.
They like their narratives. And Hook Joe, I know you were kidding. And I'm the same way. Don't give them any snowballs. All the snow needs to stay on the Bills side.
Mm-hmm.
All the snow. He does that stutter. He does that stutter step juke all the time. Listen. Yeah. He stopped. He did like a little hesitation. He probably looked to see where he was at if he had to get down. Realized he didn't have to get down, and he went.
Exactly.
It's the narratives is funny though. It's the narratives across the league.
Mm-hmm.
But no one was complaining about Patrick Mahomes' fake step out of bounds, keep running down the sidelines.
Right. Exactly.
It's part of it. Yep. Mahomes runs to the sidelines like he's going to step out. No one wants to hit him. And then he just keeps running down the sidelines. And then when someone goes to hit him, he steps out and gets the call. I mean, the dude's slick.
No, I'll admit, like if they were saying Josh Allen is a flopper, yeah, fine. He does that. He does it pretty good, but whatever. It's what it is. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the game.
You want to know what the difference is, though? Because Cam Newton never did flop, so he never got the calls, and he got beat up.
Right.
Does Josh Allen doesn't get some of the calls, too, when he flops. No, I know. Because he flops. It comes down to how hard do they hit him.
Mm-hmm.
He's bigger than a lot of the others. It's kind of like Shaq. Remember Shaq? That guy, if they can never call a foul on Shaq all the time because the game would never.
Never.
Because
Yeah,
they fouled him every time.
yeah.
He was just so much bigger than everybody. It's just one of those things.
I know it sucked for him. Like, he was like, "This is bullshit, man." But it was like, no. How do you guard this guy? It's fucking possible. You got to hit this guy eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We live inside where everything bothers everyone, and you're gonna have 100 people in the room, and you might have 4 different groups of how people think. Just one of those. It's the way it is. Some might throw a snowball at Taylor Swift. I bet you she'd throw it back. She seems like that type of person. Someone threw a snowball up there.
First of all, she'll be but I think it has glass cover, right?
It does.
Like,
but if she was like standing outside, I bet you anything she would throw it back. She seems like that type of person. He does a good job acting, just like Mahomes. Call it what you want. Haley's giving Josh some acting lessons. He's getting better at flopping. That's what we want. Protect yourself. Get those 15-yarders. But the rules, use the rules. Listen, haven't you ever heard the slogan? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Exactly.
Bill Belichick has 6 rings because he pushed the limits. Do what you got to do.
Exactly.
Get the W. Yeah. All the top quarterbacks are known as floppers. They all. Yeah, listen, they all. I seen offensive linemen flip flop. Defensive linemen, like I've seen them all do it.
Right.
So
get out of here.
The difference is with the quarterback, they're with the plays more, so you see them do it more often than the others, but they all do it.
It's so funny though. You know what I like with Josh? He always looks back at the ref and goes,
"Who?
Josh."
Yeah.
Like whenever Josh goes down, he's like,
he turns around and looks like, "Where's the flag?" And then he finds it. He's like, "Okay, we're good."
Or he'll point. He always points at his head.
Yeah.
So great.
It's one of those things, man.
I'm like, yeah,
part of the game. They do a good job. Whatever it takes to win. Right? Right? It's
my God.
Seen the refs look at Allen, shake his head, and laugh. Exactly. The refs have called Josh out many times. Like, he didn't hit you in the head. But you go back to somewhere like the Eagles game where Josh was horse collared and they didn't call it. Then they called a penalty on Josh for intentional grounding when the guy was 4 feet in front of him. I've watched, so it's the refs are what the refs are.
Right, right.
They throw it great. If they don't, they don't. Just suck it up and move on to the next play because you're not going to change it.
Right.
Being mad about it and sulking over it's not going to do you any good.
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day. So you want to jump into the keys to the game?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. So keys to the game on offense: run the damn ball. The Chiefs defense is like ranked in the 20s somewhere, and run defense. They're ranked like top 5 in pass defense. Run the damn ball. They have pass rushers.
Yep.
Their nose tackle, Noddy's not playing. Run the ball. Get James Cook. Get Ty Johnson. Get them moving. The Bills' offense actually works best when it runs the ball first, when it gets the run game going, and then Josh can just play action off of it. Guys are open. When you try to just line Josh up and throw at a shotgun, it doesn't work as well. It's not as fluid. On the defensive side of the ball, run the damn ball or stop the run. Stop the run. Tackle.
Absolutely.
Missed tackles will kill you in this game.
Absolutely.
Stay in your pass rush lanes. If you don't get there and you don't sack Mahomes, that's fine. Putting pressure and collapsing the pocket on Mahomes, making him force the throw, is okay. It's not about bringing him down all the time.
Right.
It's about keeping him contained in the pocket so his legs don't beat you.
Right.
And then my big one, special teams. Be on point. Bass, make your kicks. Don't give up long returns.
What is Bass this year? I meant to look at that the other day, Mikey.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
This fucking guy, bro, this year, man. I like him, but my God, bro.
He just got paid fat too.
All right, what the fuck is going on? What is going on with him?
I don't know.
Holy shit, man. He's killing
Our running backs ran 14 times for 42 yards, but even 2 for 25. So Allen can have a field day with that too. Not only that, but Joe, they knew that you guys had to run because of Tua in the cold like that. They they played man to man against your receivers and took away the run, thinking Tua wasn't going to beat you. You know, they can't do that against Josh. You know, Josh has a stronger arm. You know, so it'll be interesting to see. The Dolphins' offense really took a dip when you guys lost your center, Connor Williams. It changed everything when you lost Williams. And it just wasn't the same offense that you saw earlier in the year. A lot of screen passes, a lot of short stuff. There wasn't like the one deep ball they threw was a touchdown, Tyreek to touchdown. Like you didn't see the Tyreek over the middle very much down the stretch. So when I look at it, you know, yeah, they're not running the same D, expecting Allen to have a day. They run a lot of spies on Allen. They run a 3-man rush for a contain with a spy. And then they play coverage. That's why I think if they're going to run a 3-man rush with a spy, run the ball. It's okay. You know, and then randomly they'll bring a slot blitz, you know, as a fourth guy, you know. So go ahead.
Bass has missed 5 this year. It's not god awful, but still 82. He's not one of the better kickers in the league. That I can tell you. He's like in the middle pack right now.
No about it. Yeah, I hooked up Joe, but I was using you as a frame of reference.
82%
they ran. Yeah. All right. So it's not as horrible as I thought. It just feels
no 4 for 6 and 50 and 50 plus, 4 for 6, 40 and 40 to 49, and 12 of 13 for 30 to 39. And he's missed 1 extra point. So it's not the worst, but he still needs to be better. And in the postseason, he's missed 2 field goals.
Yeah.
And the one at the end that bothers me even worse than the block, because blocks, listen, sometimes you got to give the defense credit.
They say he was tipped, which is more concerning that was tipped because that means our line. Yeah, they're saying the second one.
Right.
Well, because they're saying that means they're getting through your line and your line's not blocking well enough.
That's special teams to fix that shit. Right. So maybe that's not on it. Maybe he got a tip, but still.
It's horrible. Right. He sucks.
Yeah. He's dog shit.
He needs to be gone this offseason.
Absolutely.
You know,
fuck out of here. Right.
Yeah. 2 blocks. Also missed 3. Yeah. You know, Hack scares me. I'll be perfectly honest. As a holder alone, he scares me. There's a reason why we cut him and brought in somebody else. He so bad. He lost it to Punt God.
I think he averaged, I saw somewhere 41.2.
Yeah. Yep. And now he's going to be doing it in the cold. Beth, why didn't they go for Ariza holding? He's never done it in an actual game. He's had 1 preseason game, 1 punt in a preseason. That's it. That's the reason why he didn't, because you don't do that in a divisional.
I get it, but it's not like fucking Matt Hack's been punting all year. He's punted twice. He's played one game. Matt Hack's
a veteran. You know me.
I get. Oh wow. I know that. Right. I get it. That's a fucking McDermott thing. But like if the reasoning for fans, I get the reasoning for McDermott because that's the way McDermott is. He likes his guys. He likes safe. You know, the safe bet. The guy that's been here. I get it. Fine. But I'm saying for fans to say, oh, like we need a guy that's been that's been active. Like, bro, this guy's been active. He's
been on someone's practice squad, so he has been
like one fucking but who's to say that Ariza? You don't think Ariza has been punting, practicing? Of course he has.
I'm just telling you why.
I know. I think it's. By the way, too.
Would I have signed him? Yes. That's just
he beat out the same fucking guy we fucking just signed to the practice squad. So I just don't. But it is what it is. Listen, hopefully we don't even need to punt. Hopefully we don't even need to use them. So I don't know. I just think
I would like to see Ariza resign in the offseason and give him a chance to win the job next year. I would love to see that, but something tells me that's not in the cards. So I'm done trying to predict it. That's like predicting D Hop or Henry.
That's true.
Like that.
Right.
Kind of over it. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, not okay. It didn't. Get ready for some 30-yard punts. That's saying that Hack's up. Like there's still a chance that Martin plays.
Right,
And
right. You never know.
Martin, even with his hamstring, still kicked it 40+ yards.
Right, exactly. It just worries me because
it's not his kick leg, it's his plant leg.
Field position is key, man, especially in these kind of games. It's like if we got punters punting at 35, 40 yards, and it's not good.
I mean, that's fine if we're kicking it from the 50.
Well, that's if we're kicking it from the 50, but that's not always the case, right? So, and by the way, we've been in these situations with Bojo before, and Bojo actually had a good leg, but he would also boot it out of bounds, 25 yards.
Holder in the
holder, yeah, but he was inconsistent. My point is, he was also inconsistent in punting. Not every punt was deep. Some punts were 30 yards. He was so weird. He punted out of bounds and shit. Like I don't know. But whatever. It is what it is. We're here. We got no other choice. That's who they got.
Martin's under contract for next season, but we can get out of it. It's one of those that you can get out of. Martin's holding's been an issue as well. Like the whole special teams has been bad this year altogether. And our coordinator is the worst of them all.
I will say this though, real quick. Speaking of Ariza, we'll move on. When they did ask him, though, what teams have reached out, and they did say, because I went and rewatched the video, because I was just curious. When they mentioned, did the Buffalo Bills reach out? And he said, I'm not going to. He could have said no, by the way. But he just said, I'm just not going to mention the teams. I'm just saying, he could have said no, they haven't. Like, real simple. So, in my opinion, I think they still do talk to him, and he did say that, by the way, that there is people that talk to him in the organization. So you never know what winds up happening in the offseason when it comes to him. If I was Matt Ariza, though, Mikey, what I would do, just for the hell of it, I would go to the UFL. I punt my ass off there, and then trust me, he'll earn and if it ain't with us, somebody's going to pay him. I promise you.
Invite somewhere.
He'll get 100%.
Can't invite somewhere. Yeah, I would.
But
just to get
paid too. Get paid a little bit of money. Get your name out there again. Yeah, get reps
in.
That's what I would do.
I would too. I totally would. And then my final one is on the coaching, right?
Yeah.
Play the adjustment game. The one thing that we were so frustrated with last year in the divisional round is we never adjusted throughout the whole game.
No.
It's another thing that we had a problem with Daboll. He refused to adjust. So far this year, we've seen both Joe Brady and we've seen McDermott adjust in game. I want to keep doing that. McDermott, don't play tight. Keep doing what you've been doing the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I think we'll come out with a W. I really do.
Yeah, trust. You got to keep trusting your players. Trust your personnel. Trust the guys that you have filling in. That's what they're there for. Listen, I know it sucks, guys, and I get it. Like that, we're missing some key guys. It's terrible, but we've been in every single fucking game throughout the whole year, pretty much, with guys backing up other guys that we're out of injury. This is not like we've been healthy all season. All of a sudden, boom! Now we have injuries, and what the fuck we don't know what this guy's going to do. What this guy's going to like. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty confident in the guys that have been filling in because they've done a fine job. And we've been in every, like I said, we've been in every game. So it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it. And like you said, Mikey, it's about McDermott adjusting and also adjusting to each player's strengths and weaknesses. That's something that I said Ken Dorsey didn't do a good job. He didn't understand players' strengths and weaknesses like Hardy and Sherfield. And I think Joe Brady's that's one thing Joe Brady's maybe starting to learn, because you saw like Hardy get involved a little bit, Sherfield get involved in the Dolphin game. Like he's starting to understand maybe now.
We even saw the guy we called up, Isabella, last week. They even threw him a little Josh had a bad throw to him. I would have loved to see him get out there because there was room for him to use his speed.
There was. He did a ton of motion in that game, though.
Yeah.
They used him.
I want to see more of that. I want to see more, a lot more motion.
I agree.
I'll tell you, I like what Brady has brought. I'm really interested to see what he looks like next year when he has the offseason to incorporate some of his stuff. He's just put tweaks on the offense we were already running this year.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm really excited for him to get into the lab with Josh and come up with an offense that best fits this team. More Cook. See what other guys we can get in next year. But talking about this year, I want to quickly run through the slate of games this week and get your
let's do
take
it.
on them. We'll start with the first game on Saturday, Texans at Ravens. What's your take on this Texan-Ravens game?
Okay, so real quick, all the games I have all the teams that are supposed to win, like they're favored to win. I have it all. Like I have it the same way. I think every team that's favored to win is going to win. Now,
so you have status quo.
I have status quo because but we're gonna start with one game, each. So we're starting with the Baltimore game. I just think at home, Baltimore is a tough place to play. That team got some rest. They had some injuries. No
Mark Andrews back though. He's not.
No more injuries, but I'm saying other injuries like they were dealing with. They're good now for the most part. But I will say this. Russ being on a bye week and having that Russ and not playing sometimes isn't always great. And you're going against a team that's young, hungry,
playing with money.
They don't give a fuck, right? What do they got to lose? And they're riding a kind of a hot streak. Like CJ Stroud is feeling himself right now. Yeah, so
9.5 points.
It's crazy, but I do think Baltimore wins. I do. I think they're the better team, but I also wouldn't be totally shocked if Houston makes it close, and you never know. It could come down to the final minutes of the fourth, in the fourth quarter. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I if I was a betting man, I would take the Texans plus 9.5. I could see the Texans winning this game. I really can. Like Baltimore has come out flat many times before, and Houston's hot, man. If CJ's making the throws that he's made the last X number of weeks, like listen, Baltimore's been on the ropes a few times this year and barely squeaked it out against worse teams.
Yeah, I think their defense is the question mark. What defense do you get? Because sometimes their defense has been sloppy, and sometimes it's been started sloppy and then really adjust. Like if you go back to that Cleveland game last week, Cleveland looked like it was going to be like, okay, like it's going to be high scoring because they weren't stopping Cleveland right away. Cleveland was doing what they were doing, moving into the postseason, and then all of a sudden, turnovers, and the game went sideways real fast on that Cleveland-Houston game. And could that happen against Baltimore? Bro, I'm going to tell you, Mikey, turnovers like that are fucking backbreakers. Right?
Yeah.
Especially
and that's
turnovers for touchdowns.
That's what Baltimore lives off of is turnovers. If they don't get turnovers, they struggle.
Yeah.
Baltimore defense, they'll allow yards, but they get turnovers.
Right.
The reason why Baltimore beat the 49ers so bad was because they turned them over so much. You know what I mean? The 49ers had a ton of yards. They just turned the ball over too much. So if Baltimore doesn't get them, like go back and look at that Rams game. The Rams almost beat them because they didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
So the Ravens live and die by the turnover. So, did you see this? Jason says the Chargers offered Harbaugh 5 years at $19 million a year.
Big money. They're desperate right now. They need help, man. I think it's a great fit.
5 for 95.
I think it's a great. I think but Gruden got that kind of money, and
you got.
I think that's a great fit for Jim Harbaugh.
So do I.
He has a quarterback in place. He has a receiver in place. He has a defense in place. He just needs to get it. He needs to shape. He needs to mold it together and make it into his own. Get a couple pieces here and there. But man, he even has a running back. Or unless he's on. Or is he a free agent actually? Is Eckler there, or he just signed with them?
Eckler's still there, but he's going to be a free agent in the offseason.
Exactly. So he's a free. Okay, so he may. So they may need a running back. So, but either way, they
may re-sign him too. You never know.
They could.
Because you're going to see him get rid of a lot of the big name defensive guys.
Yeah,
because they're in cap trouble. They'll
Mhm.
probably see him get rid of like Mike Williams because he's been hurt a bunch and he's making $20 million a year.
That would probably
so
be.
you're going to see a lot of that type of stuff. A lot of their big name guys go. But they also have like the number 5 overall pick, so I could see him going with a Brock Bowers out of Georgia, get a receiving tight end. I can see him going with Malik Neighbors if he's there, as a wide receiver. So I can see him getting weapons.
Okay.
So
what's the next game on Doc?
Okay. The next one is the Packers-Niners. Callie comes in and says the Packers going to make a big upset. It's 9.5 also, the point.
See, I
think the Niners are going to win, but
I do too.
9.5's a lot.
I don't know. I think I agree. I listen, here's the deal, man. Packers, honestly, if you're a Packer fan, you should just be like, if your season ends this weekend, there's nothing to be like, you shouldn't hang your head. Like, I don't even think they should have been in there, right? They had a good turnaround in there at the end. But I just think San Francisco, if healthy, they're just a better team.
They're getting their whole defense back. So Hargrave's coming back.
Yeah. I mean, healthy in the game, like no injury. Like if they could stay upright, especially McCaffrey, they're just a dead. They're so tough, man. And I just don't think the Packers have enough, especially being in. And you got to also factor the home field advantage. Like a young Jordan Love, I just can't. I can't see it, man. I can't see the Packers beating them. I think San Francisco puts 30 plus on them, man. I think it's going to be something like, if I had to guess, that score is going to be like 36-20. Something
so
like
you think
that.
You're going to cover the 9.5?
I do. Okay.
So if you were a better, you would take the Niners minus 9.5. Okay. I can see that. I can absolutely see that.
Yeah, they got a lot of weapons. The only way you're going to beat them, honestly, is if Green Bay's defense mimics what Baltimore did, and I don't think they have the players to mimic it. That's the problem.
So I don't think so either.
You know what I mean? That's
so unless Purdy has one of his turnover games, you're not going to beat him.
Right, exactly. But how did he have the turnover game? Because fucking Baltimore's on his ass. I don't see Green Bay.
You don't think they have the pass rushers?
I don't think that. They have a few. But I don't think they have it like San Fran does. Baltimore. Baltimore has, that's a legit defense. They have guys flying all over the place. I just don't see it happening.
Even the Packers start winning, the lights will just go out and San Francisco will win.
It'd be unbelievable, though. I would say that it's another game that would be. Now that I would be surprised. I told you, Houston wouldn't be like. I would be.
I've seen really Baltimore come off the 1 seed and lose that first game.
That's what I'm saying. So that I wouldn't be overly. I would be a little surprised. No, I'm not gonna lie.
I would love it.
Right. I would love it too.
We'd be hosting Singletary in Buffalo.
Oh, that would AFC Championship in Buffalo. Big fucking villa. But I would think the San Fran game would be the shocker for me if they lost to Green Bay, because San Fran, most people have them going to Super Bowl. I think
they're the most talented team left in the NFC.
That's what I mean. Like, without a doubt, like most people go, hey, from offense to defense, they had if healthy, that team is stacked with talent. And then they have the trades where they just brung in fucking Chase Young. Man.
So you have Bosa and Young, you have Hargrave and Armstead. Then you have Warner, you have Travarius Ward. The only one they're missing is Hufunga, because Hufunga tore his ACL.
Right.
They're all pro safety. But outside of that, they're stacked top to bottom on that defense.
And then the offense is stacked.
Yeah.
They got fucking playmakers all over.
And Debo and Ayuk and Kittle. Even their fullback is an all pro.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I would be shocked if Green Bay somehow beat them. I would be fucking shocked. All right, what's the next game on the docket?
Jesus, yeah, and Daniel Garrison then says Gruden got the 10 years, $100 million, so that would be double what he got. That's crazy. The next one is the Bucks Lions, 6.5 point dogs.
In Detroit, I
have a feeling the Lions are going to roll through the Bucks. I like the Bucks. I like their fighting spirit, but I have a feeling the Lions are going to be moving on to the NFC Championship game.
NFC,
They're so good. They're so.
I
good.
agree. I think they're just their defense is sometimes a little shaky.
Yep.
I got to admit, sometimes a little shaky, but and sometimes too, their offense sometimes can get on a little stuck in the mud. But like against the Rams
when they're outside. This happens when they're outside, not inside.
Well, against the Rams, they were home and they kind of got they fluttered a little bit there. It was a close game. But I agree. I just don't listen. I think Tampa right. Yeah, dude. I think Tampa right now is just Baker Mayfield's too hit or miss, and he's more miss than hit, right? And big moment, big game in Detroit. Lions fans are going to be going nuts. I can't see him. And he's had so many bad games this year. Mayfield turnovers.
Yeah. If I was a Lions fan, I would be betting Lions minus 6.5.
Yep. I think the Lions win. I think the Lions, if I had to guess, that's a high scoring game for the Lions. I think the Lions score 35 points. I think the Bucks score around 16, 14, somewhere around there.
I can see him getting in the 20s. The Bucks do have
maybe it depends.
Depends on what if he connects with Mike Evans.
Yeah, it's all Mayfield because Mayfield's had games where he scored 6 points, 7 points. I mean, he's played terrible some games. So what Mayfield are you getting?
Yeah.
That's really what's going to boil down to, because they could get blown the fuck out if Mayfield doesn't play good. Like, you know what I mean? If Mayfield plays good, you're right. They could be in the 20s. It could be something like 35-25, something like that.
Yeah. Best Bills channel or not comes in with the super chat. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
it. Go Bills, bring it home so we can have more fun with you guys. Yes, absolutely. Bring it home. Let's do this. And then the final game, Chiefs at Bills.
I start with that score prediction first.
Two and a half point spread. Tommy, what is your score prediction, brother?
Okay. It's so tough for me to give high scores for Buffalo now because we just still really we don't creep in that. 31 was our last highest score, right? Against the Cowboys. We just don't. We haven't scored a lot. So I'm going to go, and that Chiefs defense is still pretty damn good. I'm going to go 30-20. I think we win by 10 points. And I think that's fair. I think it's still a close game. I think we could be up by 7 with some time ticking. We kick a field goal to make it 10, and then that's a wrap. Like, you know what I mean? We close the show there. Maybe get a stop. They're done. So 30-20 is where I have it. I think it's close for a little bit, and then we take that little bit of lead, kind of like we did against last week against Steelers, right? We build on that lead a little. It's 7 points, now it's 14. I think that's where we're at.
I would feel way more comfortable with that score. I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I think it's going to be a 27, 23, 24-20 type of game.
I'm sorry. Dunn's right. 31. We scored 31 on the Pittsburgh, so I wasn't thinking. So that was the last time we scored 31. But I just don't see as high scoring. I don't think like 40 points.
That Chiefs defense is really good. They haven't given up more than 20 points in a game in like 8 weeks or something like that. They don't give up a ton of points.
No, they don't.
That's why I see it more in the lines of like the 24-20 type of game.
Yeah. I will say the weather will be fine.
27, 23.
And by the way, the weather last weekend was fine. Like it was fine against Steelers. Like it wasn't even that windy. I remember I couldn't believe the flags weren't even moving on the post. So
it's supposed to be nice weather. Like it's gonna be cold.
Right. It's gonna be cold, but I'm saying like not like crazy snowing or windy. Like the weather shouldn't affect the offensive game plan.
Amy, you have us putting 37 on.
I can't see it, man. You never know. But I can't see it. They hold
really good. They're like the number 4, defense in points per game.
Right.
They don't give up a ton of points.
Yeah.
But you never know. They could get into like a shootout like they did last time. You never know what's going to happen.
No, you never know. You never know. That's
you got 34-28. Wow. See, I think it's going to be lower. I think it's going to be more like the first game we had where I think was it 2017 is what we finished, right?
Was it? I don't remember the first.
Because they needed a field goal to tie, remember?
Right. All right.
So I think we won 20-17. I think if we can get, I think 24 or more is going to win it for us.
Okay.
I really do. I was thinking a 10-point lead at least. Listen, I'm all for it, guys. I hope that's what we do. Chiefs haven't allowed a 30-point game all year. Yeah. They haven't allowed a 30-pointer all year.
When did we play them? What week was that? Week
14, I think. 14?
Week 14?
Yeah, week 14, I think.
Let's see.
10 point is what I'm talking about.
14.
Hashtag sports.
So you're right. 2017.
Yeah, Mario comes in with the 9-6 score. Buffalo.
My God.
If we're only kicking field goals, I will be nervous as hell during that game if that's what's happening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That'd
be that's not
yes, we're gonna score 13. We're gonna be in 13-6.
Can you imagine? Or we win by 13?
Or we win by 13.
Right. Somehow the 13 is in there.
Right? We killed the throwback this year. The throwback didn't count. So we broke that curse. Now we're gonna break the 13-second curse.
I heard somewhere, I forget where I saw, like somebody on Twitter wrote it. They were saying like Bills fans should try to wear all blue jerseys to the and not red, because it's going to be Chiefs fan, like try to make it like where it it looks like an all Bills crowd.
99-0. Mario can't predict the Bills score. That's 9-6. That's great. Oh, he went week 13. It was week 14, correct, Tommy?
Week 14.
That's
week 14. Yeah, 2017.
Yeah. Week 14, 13th game of the year. That's right. All right. So what's on tap for this weekend, Tommy?
Oh, all right. Tomorrow at 9:00, me and my buddy Miles is doing a UFC watch along. So if you want to tune into that, that is at 9:00, and obviously till the event stops, which is probably 1 a.m. So it's going to be a long show.
Who's fighting?
It's
who's the main event?
I'll tell you right now.
Strickland?
Strickland, yeah, Strickland.
Strickland's fighting? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be covering that, and then Sunday.
Ooh, we have a Chiefs fan in the house.
Oh, 27-20. Okay, close. At least it's not saying blowout or anything crazy, but that's fine. Yeah, then I do the pregame Sunday at 5:00, and then we're gonna do postgame, and that's it.
Hashtag Sports is gonna be pre-gaming, tailgate at the stadium. Go out and find Mario and Paul and Ryan. Go join the hashtag celebration.
All right, now question is who's jumping through a table? Is any of you guys are you?
We're gonna see Paul put Mario through a table again.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. You better record that shit.
There's already video of it out there.
Well, that I know.
It's really Mario jumping.
That was a
couple.
That was a couple years ago.
Paul wasn't picking him up.
Right. That was a couple years ago. I remember that.
Yeah. I'll be the one in hunting gear with the orange hat. That was so fixed. It was so fixed. It was awesome though, So yeah, go find the hashtag fellas out at the pregame if you're going to the game. Always fun to hang out with those guys. Like you say, Mario needs to go on a diet. No, Mario's just large. He's very tall. Very tall. Like because he makes Paul look very tiny, and Paul's not a small guy.
And man, and Mario really grew his hair out.
I know.
When I first started watching, he had short hair. Like Mario did like this reinvention of himself, man. He did. You know what he did? He did the Josh Allen long hair in the beginning of the season. Look,
no, it was. I'm done with that hair. It's his COVID hair. He started growing it out during COVID, and he just never stopped.
Right. Yeah.
Put Tommy to a table. Long. Put Tommy to a table.
Listen, I could trip and break a table. I'm so big. Okay. I don't need
John Wick Buffalo Bills. Yes. All right. So so you have that tomorrow, and then we on
pregame,
Sunday you'll have the pregame, and then we'll have the postgame after. So Tommy will do pregame. I'll be on for postgame with you. Yeah.
So guys, real simple. It's real simple, honestly. Everything is scheduled. So obviously you guys are hoping all of you guys are subscribed by now. Just hit the notification bell. That's it. That's all. That's when you know we're going live, plain and simple. So yeah, like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. And that's it, man. Smash.
Yep,
Yeah.
Love you too, brother. enjoy the tailgate and the game. Are you guys doing a post game, Mario? Are you guys doing post game? I need to know when you guys get home if you guys are going to do one since you're at it. You know, I want to hear how it was, the environment. I need to have that content in my life. So make sure you guys do something.
Mm-hmm.
But for Tommy, I'm Mikey, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hey, Bills Mafia, we love you as always, man. And go Bills. We're out of here. Peace. And I'll play that outro. Why not? Why not?
Uh-huh.